Hello students, today we will study about human nervous system and how it is divided into different categories. So this flow chart is going to give an overview of the human nervous system. You can see here nervous system, that is central nervous system. First is central nervous system, then we have got PNS, that is peripheral nervous system, and then we have got ANS, that is autonomic nervous system. So nervous system is broadly divided into three categories: CNS, PNS and ANS. Full form is given here. CNS is central nervous system, the main one, then PNS peripheral nervous system, and autonomic nervous system, ANS. We have to study CNS in detail, that is human brain, because this includes human brain and spinal cord. Human brain is further divided into three parts: one forebrain, second midbrain, and third one is hindbrain. Peripheral nervous system, it includes some of the nerves that arise from, I will use another marker for PNS. So this PNS includes some nerves which come out from the brain. The nerves which come out from the brain are called cranial nerves, and the nerves which come out from the spine are called spinal nerves. Now moving ahead, so in PNS we have studied that PNS includes the nerves which come or which arise from the brain, which come out from the brain, are called cranial nerves, and the nerves which arise from the spine are called spinal nerve. For example, this is your brain, and this one below brain you have got your spinal cord. So the nerves which arise from the spinal cord are called the spinal nerves, and the nerves which come out from the brain are called the cranial nerves, and these nerves forms the PNS, peripheral nervous system, and brain and spinal cord, they form the CNS. So this is the relationship between CNS and PNS. Then another one is your ANS, that is autonomic nervous system, which includes sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. So we will read these two later on, but first we will start with the central nervous system, that is CNS. This is also a detailed flow chart of nervous system, overview of nervous system. So we have got central nervous system, that is CNS, that is body's master control unit. It controls all the functions and coordinate all the functions of the body, because it includes brain. So brain and spinal cord are main here in CNS. So brain is divided into further three parts, that is forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. You already know this. And spinal cord is a column or is a cylindrical structure which is present below the brain, and spinal cord is responsible for controlling the reflex actions. PNS and ANS we will study in detail later on. Now in this flow chart again you can see the relations or the nervous system, which include brain and spinal cord. The brain and spinal cord, this one is your CNS, and nerves which arise from brain are called cranial nerve. The nerves which arise from spines or the spinal cord are called spinal nerves, and this includes your peripheral nervous system. So this one we will study later on, but our first focus will be on CNS. CNS, that is brain and spinal cord. Now let's study about the human brain. Human brain is major part of CNS, that is central nervous system, which is helpful in control and coordination, and 98% of nervous system is brain itself. Encephalology is the study of human brain. Then human brain is protected by three meninges. From here it is protected by three layers or the meninges, 1, 2, and I will draw one more, that is the third one. So this human brain is protected. This is the human brain which is protected by the three meninges. So this is human brain, and from outside it is protected by the three meninges, three layers, and within this layer, within these layers, we have got cerebrospinal fluid. Not only layer, for protection we have got some fluid which is present between these layers. This fluid is known as cerebrospinal fluid. This fluid is known as cerebrospinal fluid. So the space which is present between meninges is filled by a fluid called cerebrospinal fluid, CSF, and it protects the brain from injury and it acts as a shock absorber. So if question arises how the brain is protected, so it is protected by three layers called meninges, very important, and names are also there. If you can learn, these layers are there. First one is dura mater, this one is dura mater, the outer one. Then after dura mater you have got arachnoid mater, and then at the end, which is nearby the brain, that is called pia mater. If you can learn 1, 2, 3 layers, that is well and good. Otherwise at least learn that three meninges, protective covering, are there over the brain, and important, these meninges are important for the protection. Not only they have got layers, inside these layers, in between these layers, a fluid is also present, that is called cerebrospinal fluid. It also helps in fighting back or preventing or protecting the brain from injury, and acts as a shock absorber because it gives a cushioning to the brain, and brain is safe. And above this, not only this meninges and cerebrospinal, from outside the brain has got very 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 important layer of skeletal system, that is called cranium or brain box. So we have got brain box or the skull, that is called skull. So we have got skull outside, then inside we have got three meninges. Not only three meninges, in between the meninges we have got cerebrospinal fluid. So this is how our very delicate and very important crucial organ, brain, is protected. Now as I told you, in CNS we have to study brain and spinal cord, because these are the two major parts of the brain. CNS, brain and spinal cord. Brain is further divided into forebrain, hindbrain and midbrain. Midbrain is also there, which joins the forebrain and the hindbrain. This is the connecting link between forebrain and the hindbrain. This is a clear picture of the brain. You can study here. This one is the forebrain. It includes cerebrum. Forebrain has cerebrum part. This is the skull or the brain box, which is called cranium for the protection. It is the part of skeletal system. Brain is the part of nervous system. Then we have got midbrain, which joins the forebrain with the hindbrain. Then in hindbrain we have got pons, medulla and cerebellum. These are the parts of hindbrain. This one is pons, this one is medulla. Below pons we have got medulla, and this structure is known as cerebellum. These are the part of your hindbrain. So in this slide we have learned that brain is divided majorly into three parts. One is forebrain, second is midbrain, and third one is the hindbrain. Midbrain connects forebrain with the hindbrain. You can see this is the connecting link between forebrain and the hindbrain, and this posterior part is the hindbrain. In hindbrain we have got pons, medulla and cerebellum, and forebrain has an important part called cerebrum. This one is cerebrum, that is the part of forebrain, and this one is flowery structure. This one is the cerebellum, which is the part of hindbrain. Not only this, in our brain we have got certain glands, endocrine glands, that is hypothalamus, pituitary gland. We will study them in detail at the end of the chapter. They have got some role to play. They release some hormones, but here we will focus majorly on the parts of the brain which are related with control and coordination, and which are the part of your forebrain and hindbrain. So these are two glands which are present. We will study them in endocrine system. If you see in this slide, you will get an overview of the brain. You know CNS has two parts, that is brain and spinal cord. Brain is lodged, it is present inside the cranium. Cranium is the skull, and it is present, brain is present inside the skull for the protection. Then it is covered by the meninges. Meninges has a fluid in between present, that is called cerebrospinal fluid, and it acts as a shock absorber. This one you know, as a for the protection, what the brain actually has. Then see, forebrain is divided into three parts. One is cerebrum, and there are two cerebrum, or we can say two cerebral hemisphere. And this one is the part, or this is the site of intelligence and voluntary action. The action which are in our control is controlled by the cerebrum. So cerebrum, this cerebrum is the part of forebrain, and there are two cerebral hemispheres. Then we have got olfactory lobes. These are the center of smells. Olfactory is related to smell, to sense the smell. And diencephalon, that is also the part of forebrain. So diencephalon is related to thirst and hunger. It controls thirst and hunger. We feel after some time that we are thirsty, we are hungry. So all these feelings are controlled by diencephalon. So till time we have discussed that forebrain is divided into three major parts. One is cerebrum, then olfactory lobes, and diencephalon. Cerebrum is the seat of intelligence. It is also called the seat of intelligence. Then olfactory lobes, that is related to smell, or also called center of smell, and diencephalon control the thirst and the hunger. Then moving ahead to midbrain. Midbrain has got optic lobes, and midbrain's major role is to connect the forebrain with the hindbrain. And the way forebrain was having olfactory lobes related to smell, midbrain is having optic lobes related to the vision. Hindbrain is the posterior part of the brain, as forebrain is the anterior part, midbrain is the middle part. So hindbrain is the posterior part of the brain. Further, it has three parts, that is cerebellum. This one is cerebrum, and this one is cerebellum. We have got cerebellum, and this one is important to maintain the posture, to maintain the balance or the equilibrium. We can stand in a balance while running. We can run maintaining the balance properly. So that is because of the cerebellum. Cerebellum maintains the posture, maintains the equilibrium or balance of the body. Then pons is there, next part. It is kind of a relay station, or it relays the information between cerebellum and cerebrum. So pons is a connecting link between cerebrum and cerebellum. It is also called respiratory center. Then medulla oblongata, it controls the involuntary action. The way cerebrum controls the voluntary action, medulla oblongata controls the involuntary action like breathing, digestion, sneezing, etc. Thank you very much. Revise properly to get the proper knowledge.